modesty as part of the Islamic religion. In Syria, where I was born and lived until I was 14 years old, most women would wear headscarf every day, and it's not considered unusual. Here, in America, where there's very few women with headscarf, it is considered unusual and confusing. Some people ask questions about it, but others make assumptions about who we are based on a piece of fabric. But Syrian women are not defended by our headscarf. There's so much more to know about us, the country, where we are lived and born. Today, I would like to tell you about who we are, what our country is really like, and the most importantly, that what you might have here is not the whole truth about Syria. In the other word, I would like to tell you about the Syria I know, the Syria I love, and the Syria I pray will someday find peace once more. Currently, in the United States, there's thousands of refugees who came here from Syria. Many people have formed their opinion about the Syrian from the violence they see on the TV. Yes, there is violence and civil war going on. It's the reason why many families like mine have came here looking somewhere safe to live. Some people assume that the violence they see on the TV is typical of the Syrian people, but the opposite is true. The Syrian are laughing, happy, loving people just like you, want a safe life for their families. Believe me, none of us like to be away from our homeland. It's hard to be in a new country with a new language and a new culture. That was something me and my family had to learn a few years ago, and we're still learning. In 2011, before the war started, there were 23 million people living in Syria. After the war began, there is 17.9 million left in Syria. Where did these people go? Thousands of them have been scattered around the world as refugees, including 6 million children according to the BBS network. My family and the children in my family are among those refugees. To help you understand what has it been like to become a refugee, I would like to tell you about the reason we left our Syria, the experience we had there, and what has it been like to become a refugee. In July of 2013, there was a hard knock of my family's house in Syria. It was the army. They came to arrest my dad for a reason that were never very clear to us. That's the way it's there in Syria now. There's a lot of distrust between the government, people, and the army. My dad was arrested and put in jail for 3 months. My family were in a big danger because the army can come anytime and arrest anyone else in the family. After those 3 difficult months, my dad went out of the jail. Almost like a dead person because of how much torment and suffering he went through. 1 week after he went out, we sent him to Lebanon to keep him safe and away from the Syrian government. We knew that the army were looking for my dad again because they came to my house and tried to convince us to tell them where my dad was. We knew that we have to leave Syria and go to Lebanon at that moment to keep us safe and to keep my little brother safe. In 2011, over 15 boys were detained and tortured of having rain gravity in support of the Arab Spring. One of those boys, 13 years old, Hamza al-Khatib, was killed after having brutally tortured. Social media took his death in 2 sides. First side, who support the government, said that he was part of ISIS and he deserved to die. But the second side, who belonged to the Free Army, said that he was a hero because he fought and died for his country. However, none of those are right, because he was a 13 years old kid who doesn't understand what he's doing. They don't have the right to do that with him or with any child in the world, because at the end, there are children who doesn't understand what they're doing. I lived in the war for 4 years, seeing people getting killed, houses getting burned, and everything you can imagine of being in the war. It's hard, I know. I know as you hear this now and think of what you see on the TV, you'll assume that life in Syria is really hard, and nobody would or like to live there. But let me tell you this. We are all wrong about what we know, because what we see on social media is lead and factual. On the other hand, I know I used to be scared and everything. I also loved it there. It felt good to be home. It felt good to be part of my family, my people, and my history. I knew that if I was going to die there, I'll be proud of myself. I knew that my cousins will be next to me while I'm dying. And I knew that they're going to take care of everything after I leave. And I knew that if I was bored and wanted something to do, I can call my cousin orphan for a late night walk, no matter what time is it, or party over my house. I love my country. I won't pretend there were no hard time. We used to go 1 week without electricity. And sometimes it was hard for us to get food. And sometimes we had to eat what we have left at house. And sometimes we had to eat dry bread. Who eats dry bread? People throw dry bread away. We used to look for one more piece so we can survive one more day. But it was fine. We seemed fine. It was hard for me to go to school, but I did. And I finished my 9th grade with a good certificate, just as my sister did. I used to study next to the candlelight all night long to get ready for my final test. My eyes will be so tired until I'm done. But I was fine doing it. At least I was in my house. And I knew that nobody in this world can ask me to leave it. The day I entered the United States, it's a day I will never forget. It was so painful. I felt so alone. We were at home doing nothing for 3 months because there were nobody can take care of us or even tell us where we go shop from. My family was the first Syrian refugee in Utah just 3 years ago. It was good and a bad thing. Good because everybody came to my house and said, "We love Syrian people. You guys don't imagine how happy we are." But isn't it what that people do? They always say words, but there's never action. It was bad